How can you know if your relationship, your marriage soon will die? Die doesn't mean necessarily divorce, because lots of people for decades live in dead marriages, which is an extremely sad situation. So please watch this video till the end, because you will be able to self-test yourself in frame of your relationship, of your marriage, so that you can decide if it's time to do something or to prevent something. I can guarantee you, unfortunately, that most of the people watching this video now, at least 70%, it's a very optimistic percentage, are thinking that their marriages is fine. Because admitting for, especially for us women, admitting that we did something wrong, or that our situation is not that good as we wish it were, is very difficult for us. This is why a lot of women are having extremely poor relationships, painful marriages, and still they don't have the courage, or don't have whatever else that would be, in order to make the first step towards their dignity, towards their happiness inside the marriage, inside these relationships. But first you have to obtain individual self-respect, individual beauty, individuality. So my dears, most of women are living the apocalypse of their own mistakes. And apocalypse, usually we understand, oh my God, the end of the world happened. Suddenly a volcano erupted, tsunami, whatever you want, and it's something sudden. What is happening now, the apocalypse is in slow motion. The apocalypse of your mistake has a very slow motion mode. This is why it's not noticeable. That's the biggest danger. It's not noticeable. And when it happens, it erupts out of very small thing, a thing that absolutely is not worthy to argue about, a thing that is absolutely not worthy to become the reason of a breakup, a divorce, and so on. But we know that most of the time we are being silent for years. The man thinks everything is fine, more than not, and then one day, when our glass is full, we just explode, and the man is asking, like, what's wrong? Everything was fine. Well, yes, I made you believe everything is fine, when inside myself was the apocalypse in slow motion happening for years. This happens out of ignorance, our feminine ignorance, because we don't know how to act, we don't know how to build a relationship, we don't know how to behave in a relationship, we don't know anything about this area. So we are just going with the flow of the generation, listening from advices from our unhappy mothers, or neighbors, or friends, or so on. We don't have bright examples from where we could learn. So my dears, what are the signs of a potentially horrible relationship? Obviously, if I would say, is your marriage bad or not, wherever there is abuse, physical violence, this we don't discuss. This is from the start a marriage full of problems, where things have to be solved immediately. And please remember that divorce should be the last option, unless the man is really a psychopath. That time really run. Otherwise, if there is no physical abuse, but there might be mental, emotional abuse. It can happen more or less. These things first we have to try to fix. Why? Not because we feel pity for the man, but because we have to solve these issues, why this happened to us. The reason is hidden inside our beautiful soul. So, my dears, here I want you, those who say, my marriage is fine, I am happy in my marriage, I don't mind my marriage, like mabushi, kullu tamam, alhamdulillah. Okay, so my dears, in such answers, very often, very often is hidden a lie that even we don't realize, that actually, oh my God, just because average people around me have poor, even miserable, disgusting marriages, doesn't mean that my marriage is related to theirs is kind of 5% better. This is not a satisfactory answer. Since you are a woman, you deserve a beautiful relationship. You shouldn't compromise for just okay, one-eyed man is better than two because all the good men are already taken. It's not real. Your man is there if you are still not married. If you are married, you have the potency to really transform a lot of things, improve a lot of things in your marriage. So, my dears, for those of you who say that my marriage is good, please answer sincerely inside your heart. Obviously, if you would write in the comments, I would be more than grateful for your courage, be it a positive comment related to your marriage, be it painful sharing, which less women are ready to do, but still that would help a lot of other women to realize that actually this is normal, this is not a shame to have a bad marriage, because nobody taught us. We didn't know when we got married that actually I don't know, there is something to learn about this. But this is a life project. This is the project that can bring you the most happiness. And for some reason, the marriage is the place where most of the women suffer the most. So, my dear women, if obviously things like everybody talks, like gap of communication, and you say, no, okay, we are talking. My dears, if you're talking with your husband did you bring the kids, did you buy that, please give me the salt, here are your socks. If this is 95% of or gossiping, or you know what your friend did, you know what my friend did, you know what happened at my work, you know what happened at I don't know what they showed in the news. If your communication is mostly 90% about the exterior things that do not concern you as a couple, you as a unity of love and passion, then you are going, if you are still not realizing, but you are going towards a very huge mountain of emotional pain. Because men don't need communication that much as we do. For men, marriage is not that necessary and that important that it's for us, dear ladies. So if you feel that your communication is just on the basic level, this is alarm. If your marriage is, your communication, your interaction with your husband is built on compromises, it means you cannot already sincerely express what you want, what you need. You cannot prove or defend your necessity. I'm not talking about ambitions. I'm talking about those important necessities. Buying something, doing something, being allowed to spend time this, here, with that, your personal needs, which might be very foolish, but you need those. If they are not accepted by your husband, it means you are two strangers living in the same house. If you are, when you are looking at your husband, if you don't smile to your husband at least a couple of times per day, observe, my dear ladies who are in the marriage 1 year plus. If you are not like, that smile that is means that you are in love. You are not loving, you are in love. Loving and being in love are two different things that are critically important for a beautiful relationship. So if you don't have that, like, you look at him and you smile and you say, oh, that's my man, I like, that's my dear one, like, I love him, like, he's my hero. If when he comes from the office, or when you meet, or in the morning, if in your both eyes the spark is not there, your marriage, your feelings are being atrophied. The spark of that teenager girl who is in love, of that boy who is in love, the spark. If you are making sex and not love, that is apocalypse. Why? Because sex he can do with any other woman. He doesn't mind. But love, if your man makes love, then he will only do it with you. For that, you have to love yourself. And little women love their bodies, love their personalities. We don't have self-confidence. This is why we are closed and we cannot express ourselves. And we allow them to make sex to us, not their notion of love is much simpler than ours. We suffer most because most of the women do not enjoy the intimacy. This is a huge problem. We don't know how to make it. If you feel that you don't have the chance to have your individuality next to all your duties of a wife, of a mother, of I don't know, if you don't have your own individuality, if you are not allowed to grow you as a woman, this is a huge problem, because you will die. So marriage, and many points. I wrote a lot of lies, trust, if your emotions are not accepted, if your foolishness while you have your period is not accepted, and somebody says like, "Uf, kebrialik." La, it's my right. It's my right to make mistake. It's my right to be foolish, and it's your duty as a man who loves me to accept me in all my colors, in all my shades. So, my dears, it's time to correct something. If you feel that from the time, remember yourself in the wedding time, pre-wedding time, how enthusiastic you were. You were thinking that, oh my God, we will get married and a lot of things will change. Yes, a lot of things change after you got married, but not the way you wanted. So you said, okay, maybe when the child is born, or maybe when he gets promoted, or maybe when we change the location, the country, and so on, and you just compromised yourself. You never worked on you and him as a couple. You worked on the social status, marriage. So your marriage stinks because it starts rotting. If after years of marriage you don't have all those things, like, it becomes more boring, and you call it, oh, marriage is stability. A marriage cannot be stable. A marriage cannot be stable because it grows. A marriage is a relationship. It grows. There are children. It's dynamic. It becomes different. Children grow. It becomes different. In all this time, you as a couple grow. The marriage doesn't reduce to children. Children are just an appendix to our happiness. I and my man united, and we are growing together. We are building our happiness together. And every single year we are happier and happier and happier without taking that morphine that, no, everything is fine. No, it's not fine. Couple of years ago, I asked on mostly feminine group, I asked, what is the percentage of your belief that your marriage will be happy? Married women answered how much you trust that your husband will make you happy, that your marriage will be happy. I was expecting the average of 70%. I didn't even have 15%. And many women answered 0. And there were women who were married just for just 1 year, couple of years, like very, very freshly, when, you know, that mood of romance, of trust, of hope should be there at their maximum. It's not right. And in very little couple are exemplar couples. My dear ladies, I almost guarantee, I know this from my experience, because this is what I hear my entire day, or rather this, or rather that, or this and that, in my groups, individual work. We have problems. Your marriages, at least 80% of those who are listening to this video, your marriage is being reduced to more pain. And there are two categories of people who try to prevent a problem, or who wait for the problem to just bomb on them, and then you just transfer the responsibility on, let's say, doctors if it's a health problem. Don't be ignorant. Don't be ignorant. The marriages don't break in one day. The happiness is not built in one day. The first seeds of problems are absolutely unimportant to us. It's just a slight itching. Okay, we ignore the itching, and once you ignore the itching, in a couple of days, it will appear the readiness of that spot. Also, you ignore the readiness. When you ignore the readiness, it transforms, grows into irritation. And you say, no problem, it will pass. The weather changed. So you ignore that irritation as well. Couple of days, it becomes a pimple. So you say, it's a simple pimple, no problem. Then the problem grows, and one time you understand, oh my God, I have cancer in the terminal phase. Mabruk. Because you ignored all those things. So how are you going now? If you cut yourself in 20 pieces, you have less chances to come out of this, if alive, mentally and physically normal. Because you've been ignorant enough not to prevent, and now what to be fixed there. So my dears, like the cancer cells, the cancer starts with such a small something that cannot be detected in scanning, and then out of the nothing, that nothing, it's your body. So marriage is a beautiful thing if it's built accordingly. This is why I summon all of you, absolutely all of you. If your marriage is beautiful, it will become only more beautiful. And actually, these are the women who come to my courses, not the women who have a shitty marriage, not those, because I cannot call it otherwise, sorry. But come women who have a normal marriage, who are aware of constant effort to put to grow. So if you have a beautiful marriage, please come. This course is even for such women like us who have a beautiful marriage. If your marriage is kind of boring, please do come. If your marriage is already facing problems, obviously come. If your marriage is already in deep troubles and you are suffering, please do come. If you are not married yet, but your relationships are not of your dreams, because otherwise you would be happily married now, then obviously come, so that you don't get into a very, how they call it, toxic marriage, and you spoil your life. Please do come. And the most important, you girls who don't want to get married. There is a huge amount of those girls who do not want to get married. Please do come, because it concerns you the most. Don't spoil your life. Why I'm sure that you'll spoil your life? Because I constantly see ladies 30 years later who who had the same desire like you, never to get married. Please let me assure you, there is no happiness at the other side of that 30 years, but it will be too late to make anything in this life, so you will just you will wait for the next time. So my dears, please join the course. Very beautiful, life-changing, difficult, very difficult course, because you will have to tattoo your mindset with new beautiful words and colors. I wish you happiness. It's up to you if you want to accept and trust me, or to keep on building your happiness yourself.